Hello students, welcome to Political Science, Chapter 2 and Part 2, Federalism. This is in continuation with Part 1. In this module, we are particularly going to study about how federalism is practiced in India. The success of federalism in India can be attributed to the nature of democratic politics in our country. Let us look at some of the major ways in which this has happened. First and foremost, linguistic states. The creation of linguistic states was the first and a major test for democratic politics in our country. In 1947, the boundaries of several old states of India were changed in order to create new states. This was done to ensure that people who spoke the same language lived in the same state. Some states were created not on the basis of language, but to recognize differences based on culture, ethnicity, or geography. These included the states of Nagaland, Uttarakhand, and Jharkhand. When the demand for the formation of states on the basis of language was raised, some national leaders felt that it would lead to the disintegration of the country. However, it has shown that the formation of linguistic states has actually made our country more united and made the administration of the country much easier. Then we move on to the next aspect, and that is the language policy. Our constitution did not give the status of national language to any one language. Hindi was identified as the official language, but Hindi is the mother tongue of only 40% of Indians. Therefore, there were many safeguards to protect other languages. Besides Hindi, there are 21 other languages recognized as scheduled languages by the Constitution. States too have their official language. According to the Constitution, the use of English for all official purposes was to stop in 1965. However, many non-Hindi speaking states demanded that the use of English should continue. In Tamil Nadu, for example, this movement took a violent turn. The central government responded by agreeing to continue the use of English along with Hindi for all official purposes. Promotion of Hindi continues to be the official policy of the Government of India. Promotion does not mean that the central government can impose Hindi on states where people speak a different language. The flexibility shown by Indian political leaders has helped our country to avoid the kind of situation that has taken place in Sri Lanka. Remember, children, in Chapter 1, Power Sharing, as we studied in the case of Sri Lanka, the leaders of the Sinhala community sought to secure their dominance over government by virtue of their majority. In 1956, as you all may remember, an act was passed to recognize Sinhala as the official language, therefore thus disregarding the Tamils. This was actually one of the major reasons for which the Tamil community developed a feeling of alienation from the country, and thereby the rift between the two communities widened, eventually leading to a condition like civil war. Next we come to a rather important aspect of federal system which is practiced in India, and that is center-state relations. Restructuring the center-state relation is one more way in which federalism has been strengthened in India. And we see that for a long time, the same party that ruled both at the center and in most of the state. This meant that state government did not exercise their right as autonomous federal units. And as and when the ruling party at the state was different, the parties that ruled the center tried to undermine the power of the state. Now, what this means is that if there was a party which was ruling at the state level which was different, for example, we can say that party X is ruling at the state and party Y is ruling at the center. So, the party that rules at the center in a federal form of system, if the center tends to be more powerful than the state. So, what will the state government do? The party that is ruling at the center usually will try to undermine the power of the state. Now, all this had undergone a significant change after 1990s. What happened so different in the 1990s? What we observe is that this period saw the rise of regional political parties in many states of the country. This was also a beginning of the era of coalition governments at the center. Now, what is a coalition government, children? It is a situation when no single party gets a clear majority in the Lok Sabha, or the major parties had to enter into an alliance with other parties, including several regional parties, to form a government at the center. Now, this led to a new kind of power sharing and the respect for the autonomy of the state governments. Now, two examples which we can discuss here are, number one of coalition government is that UPA, that is the United Progressive Alliance, which was Congress as the majority party with its allies. And the second example of a coalition government was NDA, that is National Democratic Alliance, which was BJP and its allies. Right? So we see that after 1990, a new kind of center-state relation develops in the form of coalition governments. Since we observe that none of the parties, when they are not getting a complete majority in the elections to form a government, they take the support of various smaller parties. It could be regional parties, and they come to the forefront to form a government at the center. Such governments, which are formed when number of political parties, big and small, pool in together, are known as coalition governments. And two examples, as we have discussed now, are UPA and NDA. Thank you for watching, and we'll be joining again with the third module, that is part 3 and the ending series of this topic, Federalism Part 3.